So we all have a great kasha. We all know a few days from now we're going to be standing on Rosh Hashanah, which is our lives. What's going to be? Mihichye, miyomus, miyishalev, miyisiyasra, the whole, everything. And we should be trembling. So what's the pshat? How come we don't find ourselves trembling and pachad? So I once saw, there was a ship called Lusitania. And this ship was in 1915, a British ship. And the Germans put an ad in the papers. Anyone traveling at this time of war, if you go into a ship that has a British flag, you're putting your life in jeopardy. 1,995 people boarded this ship, Lusitania. 1,960 people died on this ship when the ship was blown up. The person writing the article asked a question. Why did the people board the ship if they knew clearly, it was black and white in English, the danger that they're putting themselves into? Now this person wrote, because people bought a ticket. They have to go. They know what to do now. They're pachad. A ship that's going to be possibly blown up. They figured they'll go down to the port. They'll take a look. What's happening? Well, they see other people milling around, apparently getting ready to go on the ship. The crew is getting the ship ready to go. The British government's not stopping the ship from going. So they decide, okay, it's okay to go. The ad, okay, kasha. So you see the people going. Each person saw the other one, okay, so they all went. That's why 1,960 people died when the ship was blown up. Now, everyone knows, we opened up the machzor, black and white, and Rosh Hashanah comes, mi yichye, mi yamus, mi yishalev, mi yisyasa, mi yoni, mi yashir, black and white. But the answer seems to be, well, the guy next to me is not trembling, and that guy's not trembling. I guess you can move along. Society is very strong. In Europe, Elul came, people would sittering. So, with all of that, the Ma'aseh, Seichel does tell us that it's Rosh Hashanah, and how do we get this? What could we do to at least give us some chizuk for ourselves to prepare for the Yom HaGadol? The Manoira, person's coming to the Mishpat, it's Malchus Hashem. So a few things we'd like to suggest. One is, once heard from Rabbi Bolkin, he spoke here many years ago in the Kollel dinner, and he said that he was very influential with the government. He was the one who would say the bracha, tefillah at the state dinners, the government. Anyway, he's very well connected. So he was traveling to Eretz Yisrael, and some young Galite approached him because they wanted to get jobs in the Rabbanut, very well-paying jobs as they on them, but they were, I guess, considered right-wing. So they asked him if he's going to Eretz Yisrael, if he can work it out with the chief rabbi there. He said, my political clout is in America. Well, I'll do my best. Comes to Eretz Yisrael, the chief rabbi calls him, he wants to meet with him. Comes down, he said, look, at that time President Bush Sr., the father was the president, not good relations with Israel, and he says, the president of the United States would extend an invitation to the chief rabbi every year, but that year was not forthcoming. So he asked him, please get me this meeting with President Bush. So he said, look, I'll do my best. Meanwhile, they told him about the Galite, Baruch Hashem Hashgacha Pratis, they got their jobs. Next state dinner, he's sitting 4 people away from President Bush. He bends over, Mr. President, the chief rabbi of Israel, please, he's begging if he can have that annual meeting with the president. And the president says, my hands are tied. He had these people that were affiliated with the Arab Sanuna, with others around him. He said, please. He said, look, I'll do my best. And he did. And he actually extended the meeting. Chief Rabbi came with the ambassador, with many others that tagged along. The next time President Bush met the Chief Rabbi Shapiro, he tells him it was the most meaningful meeting I ever had in my life. So what happened? 45 minutes. And the whole time, the Chief Rabbi was speaking all about the life of President Bush, since he was a kid, teenager, etc., etc. Things that the president forgot about. So why is that the most meaningful meeting? Because whenever I meet or somebody meets president or anybody, it's not about the president, it's about me. I met the president. I have my picture of the president. He told to this, he said this. It's about me. It's the first time somebody cared enough about the president. He researched him about his life, and he was a kid, a teenager. Who cares? He did. And he spent hours in investment in that. It was the most meaningful meeting that I ever had. Now imagine, we're coming to the day of Rosh Hashanah. It's Malchus Hashem, Hashem Melech. Now, of course Hashem Melech, he's the most powerful. He's giving out life today. We have to plead what's going to be. But imagine if I research what it means, Melech. And I look into everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu does as Melech. And I get invested in it. He made the Bria. I start looking at the Bria. All the Niflois HaBoirei. Look at all the great goodness he's giving to me. The delicious foods he gave me. The health that he gave me. Look at everything taking place in the whole Bria. Things that take place in the past year. Take all the things that are part of the Baruch Shalom's world that he's running. And the more I invest in that, now I come along and say, Baruch Shalom, you're the Melech. And I come along and see what it means to be Melech, and how I care what it means to be a Melech, and the fact that other people are not even recognizing his Malchus that hurts me. King of Kosh Baruch Hu says, you care for me? It's not about you. Oh, give me Hashem, you're the Melech I want. No, you care about my Malchus. Imagine that feelings, Kaviyachal, that we can portray as if to say Hashem says, oh, you care about my Malchus. That's one tremendous thing we can invest in from now until Rosh Hashanah. Imagine we put all that effort in. Start thinking about that. Number one. Number two, look over the past year and start to think about what we can even thank Hashem for. As we say, Moedanu Fanecha on Friday night, I thank you for the future. Why am I thanking you for the future? When I get it, I'll say thank you. Had this question a long time ago. Hashem sent me the answer, very big kitzur. A man woke up with a terrible eye pain. He ran to the doctor. The doctor sent it to the specialist, who sent it to a surgeon in America, who said, I have to take out your eye. The guy was pachad. He said, right now, no. Anyway, he went out the streets of Manhattan. He found a shul. He went in. He got to the Aron Kodesh, and he starts thanking Hashem for everything about his life. It took him 2 hours, and he didn't even realize after I was going to daven, I was finding myself thanking. And he said at the end, thank you, Hashem. If you heal my eye, I will thank you for that too. He went back to the doctor. He said, check my eye one more time. He checked him. He said, you don't need surgery. I don't know what happened, but he did. He told his Rav Cook from Rehovot the story. Rav Cook publicized it on Shabbos. A month later, a man calls him up, ecstatic. He had 2 daughters, a 32-year-old and a 28-year-old. They both got engaged. What happened was he came home after this Rav spoke in the shul, and he talked about this thanking Hashem, and this man came home. He made his whole family sit down and thank Hashem for everything in their lives. It was the most exhilarating experience, because we know that think of what we can thank Hashem for, how many details of our life are. And he said they both became engaged. Why? Because when I thank Hashem for what I got, I'm already muftach. You can thank Hashem for the future, because Hashem will give you more. The Vilna Gaon says this, in Mishlei Chafei, Tezvav. There's a commentary that says, if you say that Adhei Nazarunu, Rachamecha, until now has helped, you're Rachman, not me. You're Rachman. V'lo Yasavuni, you didn't abandon us. That's Chasadecha, your kindness. Al Titreina Hashem L'keinu, says the Vilna Gaon. That means, I'm assured Hashem won't abandon me to get more. So if you thank for the past, you get more. So imagine if we sit down and start thinking over the course of the year, all the kindness and the good that we've experienced without even realizing how toiv it is. Health, Baruch Hashem, food, the fact that I can go to shul and daven, top that by the shalom. I can learn his Heilige Guitar, I can do his mitzvahs. And just enumerate and start thinking of all the things to thank Hashem for. And look at all the nisim that took place in the world in the past year. And he says, look at that, look at the nisim. You know how much nisim we in our generation have experienced from last year to this year. Think about Eretz Yisrael. It's unbelievable. It's mind-boggling. And then we start looking at our own personal nisim and our personal lives. If we start being able to express all this in gratitude, we will become overwhelmed with the chesed, with the kindness. We'll express our thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We moedim al kol ha-chesed sh'asisei modi v'asher atah asid l'asoi simi. That we should be the door, Mr. Hashem, that can be zoiche. And just to finish off, I heard a Gvaldige Shmuz from Rabbi Blomger from Lakewood. He said that's the famous Balaturim at the end of Parshas Chai Yisrael, when Yishmael falls, then there's this man of Smichas Gula of Mashiach. And if you look in the past year, starting with Yud Dalet Elul from last year, when the time that Hashem made it, that all the beepers blew up, from then on it's just been the destruction. Chazdi Hashem Yisborach of Yishmael, what we perceive as being Yishmael. Look at what we've experienced over the course of the year. Look how close we are to the Bias Goyel. If you come in Shoshana Dam for Malchus Hashem, Hashem Lamelech HaKol, that means so much to us. That's what our fervent tefillah is. That's our tefillah, our bakasha, our bikash. Hashem says, Chai Yisrael is nigal in Tishrei. Chodesh HaTshuva, we shall be zoichet to ksiva chsima toiva b'shnas gula v'shua.